Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with a Spain news update. And Spain's agricultural minister, Luis Planas, has come out today and said that the government will not put a price cap on basic foodstuffs. But more about that in just a moment. Firstly, a big thanks to all of the people that left comments on the last video. Lots of comments, lots of debate happening there as usual. Thanks to people that supported the channel through a donation or by buying me a beer or a coffee or through the new super thanks option. Many thanks for that. Thanks to people that bought merchandise, and a big thanks to my patrons on Patreon for your ongoing support. Now let's get into the news, and as I just said, the agricultural minister here in Spain has spoken, and he said that the government will not cap basic foodstuffs. When asked the question, we have seen the second vice president of the government, Yolanda Díaz, defend caps on food prices. Can we state categorically that they will not be imposed? And his reply, it is not on the table. The government has no intention of intervening or limiting prices in the agri-food market. What the government is very clear about is that the level of increase in the cost of the shopping basket has been very high in recent months, and that obviously measures must be taken by everyone to balance the burden. And both primary production, industry and distribution, especially the latter because of its particular responsibility towards consumers, have to look at whether they can limit these price increases, but this is an autonomous commercial decision in which the government makes an appeal, but obviously it's not going to issue any rules or instructions in this respect. So there we go, fairly clear words there from Spain's agricultural minister Luis Planas that the government is not going to step in and put a price cap on basic foodstuffs, and basically throwing Minister Yolanda Díaz's proposal out the window, for now at least. And also in the interview, Minister Planas was a little bit critical of his fellow minister, Ms. Díaz, for stepping into areas that she shouldn't, because after all, she's the Minister of Labour here in Spain and has nothing to do with the food supply chain. Now there's an update on COVID rules and regulations for people coming into Spain from outside the European Union, and it is that Spain is to eliminate health checks at airports for travellers from all countries. Tourists from countries outside the European Union and the Schengen associated countries will no longer have to undergo health checks on arrival in Spain, either by air or sea, as El País has learned from sources related to border control. The measure, which will come into effect in October or early November, will eliminate health checks by COVID at the first point of entry for travellers, ports and airports, which until now included at least taking their temperature, a documentary inspection, and a visual check of their physical condition. The control measures at airports not only have a health aspect, but have also led to a financial dispute as to who is responsible for the costs incurred by them. So there we go, no longer will people that arrive in Spain from outside the European Union by either air or sea be required to take a health check. And as we saw there, one of the main reasons is that nobody wants to pick up the tab for the cost of these health checks. Now, given the energy crisis that Europe is currently experiencing, according to this article, some Europeans are moving to Spain in order to escape huge energy bills. Famous for its golden beaches, the sunny province of Alicante in eastern Spain has become a beacon for European travellers. In a bid to avoid soaring energy bills this winter, some to the north of the continent are opting for towns on the Mediterranean Sea, such as Calpe, some 100 kilometres from Valencia. In recent years, almost 500,000 people from 98 different countries have relocated to Costa Blanca and its 200-kilometre long coastline. Most choose this area because the winters here are mild, but as the cost of living crisis continue, those lucky enough to work remotely further north are reconsidering where they live and why. And Dinnigan, a restaurant owner in Calpe, says, I think that there is a better quality of life here. 65% of my workers are Belgians, but I also have English people, Spanish, French, as well as Germans. I have all of them. Yes, drawn by the climate, more and more Belgians, Brits and Germans are making the change. So there we go, people from northern European countries where we know that the winters can be very cold indeed, moving to places like Alicante here in Spain in their droves to keep their energy bills down. And if you can do it, why not move to a place where you get decent weather all year round? Now Spain's tourism industry continues to recover, and even September is shaping up to be a good month for tourism here in Spain. As we can read here, tourism does not slow down with the end of summer. The dreaded slowdown is not happening. The The worst predictions for the tourism sector are not coming true. After a magnificent summer season, the pace of bookings and sales has been maintained just a few days before the start of autumn. The sharp slowdown in activity after the summer that was predicted due to the sharp rise in prices and economic uncertainty is not happening, at least at the moment, says Carlos Garrido, president of the Spanish Confederation of Travel Agencies. In the sector, after the pandemic, with its consecutive waves that halted several attempts at recovery and Russia's subsequent war in Ukraine, very few in the sector dare to make long-term forecasts. So good news there for Spain's tourism sector, with activity in September not slowing down. Now, Spain's depopulation crisis continues to make headlines, and even Pope Francis has weighed in on the debate. As we can read here, the Pope proposes a solution for empty Spain. There are villages with only 20 little old people, he says. Pope Francis has proposed a solution to combat the depopulation of rural areas in countries such as Spain and Italy. In a press conference on board the papal plane during his return trip to Rome from Kazakhstan, the pontiff commented that the West has forgotten to welcome and that immigration could solve problems such as the low birth rates, or others, such as in Spain or Italy, where there are empty villages with only 20 little old people. The so-called Empty Spain will mobilise next October under the slogan, "I stand up for my people," in all those territories marked by territorial imbalance and depopulation, according to sources from these groups. So, according to Pope Francis, immigration is the solution to those empty villages in Spain. What do you think? Now, the final piece of news today is related to the driving licence exchange fiasco that many Britons living here in Spain are going through at the moment. And according to iNews, Britons in Spain are set to protest over Brexit change to licence rules that has left them stranded. Britons have planned protests outside the British Embassy in Madrid next week as anger mounted over the failure of diplomats to reach a deal over the ban on UK driving licences in Spain. Thousands of Britons in Spain who did not convert their UK driving licences, the Spanish versions, by the deadline of December 2020, are currently not allowed to drive after post-Brexit talks broke down. An extension to allow British residents to use their UK licences has expired, but this does not affect tourists or hauliers. After 5 months of talks, Spanish and British diplomats have failed to reach a deal. A Facebook page called Invasion of the British Embassy in Madrid for the driving licence has been set up to articulate the anger of those who cannot take to the road. So the British Embassy here in Madrid better get ready, as angry Brits are on their way to protest the fact that they can no longer drive here in Spain. Now let's have a look at some of the comments from previous videos. One here from Malcolm. Hi Stu, yes, UK passports to travel you must have 6 months from the date of issue, not the expiry date, as they no longer add on the existing months. Yeah, Malcolm, thanks for the comment and thanks for explaining that one to us. There was a little bit of doubt on yesterday's live stream because somebody said that they were refused entry into the European Union because their passport was more than 10 years old, a British passport. I didn't really understand that because Australian passports expire after 10 years, so I was a little bit confused about that, but then I looked into it and I saw that if, for example, in the UK you renew your passport before it expires, they add the extra time to the passport, and apparently the problem is that the European Union does not accept passports that are more than 10 years old. But I think the UK and the European Union have now worked this out, but it was another post-Brexit problem for travellers. One here from Ellen. I heard that the EU is trying to ban burning wood. We have not yet developed the vocabulary good enough to find anything about it in the Spanish press. Do you know anything about it? Greetings from a rainy Fuerteventura. Ellen, thanks for the comment, and the answer is no, I have not heard anything about the European Union planning to ban burning wood. However, I have heard that there is a plan to stop things that lead to deforestation, and wood burning for heating could be one of those. But again, if anybody else has better information, please leave it in the comment section below. One here from Layla. I'm in Catalonia. We went for a menu at the weekend that included bread, water, wine and coffee, plus free chupitos of ratafia, which were more like cubatas. Menu was overwhelming and included an entrecote, all for 26 euros. Was a real bargain. Yeah, Layla, thanks for the comment and thanks for telling us your experience with that 26 euro menu. Probably a menu fin de semana, because a menu del dia seems a bit expensive at 26 euros. Normally for a menu del dia, Monday to Friday, you pay around 10, 11, 12 euros. But at the weekends, as we know, menu fin de semana, around 20, 25, 26, sometimes even more for that special meal. And everything included: first course, second course, bread, water, coffee, coffee, and most importantly, chupitos. One here from Lorna. Hello from Dundee in Scotland. We have had an amazing 2 weeks in Valencia. If anyone is wanting to practice their Spanish via Zoom or any other online platform, I joined a free platform called Conversation Exchange. I would recommend that if you are a beginner, you match with someone who is confident in English, otherwise the conversation gets stuck. Lorna, thanks for the comment and thanks for sharing your experience about learning Spanish online via Zoom or another online platform, which, as we know, is very popular nowadays. And a good recommendation there that if you are a beginner when it comes to learning Spanish, try to find somebody who speaks a little bit of English, otherwise the conversation, as Lorna said, will get stuck. Because let's be honest, if you only have a limited Spanish vocabulary, there's not much you can talk about. One here from James. Hi Stu, I had hay fever from the age of 5 living in London and had it annually until about the age of 55 when it totally stopped. Change of allergies, I guess. I found sucking Fisherman's Friends lozenges help keep the nasal passages clear. 73 next Saturday, living in Torrevieja. Yeah, James, thanks for the comment. Happy birthday for next Saturday, and thanks for sharing with us your experience with allergies over the years, and good to see that you haven't had allergies in close to 20 years. I wish it was the same for me. Here in Spain, every spring I suffer terribly from allergies, hay fever. Don't know what the exact problem is because when I was young I didn't have this problem, but it's something that has developed over the years, and that's why basically I don't like spring. But I'll pick up a packet of Fisherman's Friends lozenges the next time I go to the supermarket and I'll see if it helps. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.